Yo, so today I got a great question from one of our YouTube friends who's struggling with anxiety, self-loathing, and a form of dissociation. It's kind of a long question, so bear with me. He goes on to say, yo, Elliot, as far back as I can remember, since I was a small child, I've been nervous, insecure, full of constant anxiety in regards to social situations and others' expectations of me. I'm always worried about what they're thinking and how I appear to them. On top of this, I'm in a state of constant self-loathing. I'm 21 years old now and I am in my adult life, and I've found it hard to hold down a job because I'm always in fear of failure and inadequacy. And I can't handle social situations. I can't even make friends, that of which I have none. I've been mentally disturbed since a very young age. I can't help but feel trauma has always dictated my life. Coming from a fatherless household, I'm worried that it's too late to teach me what to be. In my mind, I know the man I want to be: stoic, assertive, calm, self-reliant, strong. But no matter how much I idealize this theoretical person, in reality, I crumble. The only times I've ever gotten past this is when I'm around extremely close people that I've known for many years and under the influence of drugs and alcohol. I can't go down that path of addiction, and I don't want those friends anymore. I don't have those friends anymore, he says. How can I banish these demons of anxiety and get past the illness that has defined me for so long? How can I reinvent myself? So, dude, thank you very much for your question. And in fact, your question had the highest votes in the comment section of my video where I requested questions. And so clearly a lot of guys they relate to what you're going through and have had similar experiences. And it's interesting because just yesterday, while I was holding my King Transformation class with my students, one of the young men that came on the call had a very similar situation. In fact, when he got onto the call, because what I do is I do face-to-face with guys on Zoom, and it was his turn. He immediately started breaking down and explaining, "Oh my God, I'm so nervous. I'm so nervous. Excuse me, forgive me." And then he started beating himself up. And I invited him to slow down. And the very first thing I had him recognize was that nobody knows this but you. If you wouldn't have told me that you were nervous, I would have had no idea. You're doing just fine. And so, the conversation started to take that route. We were talking about this as a recurring theme for him in his life. And we came to the conclusion, we spoke a lot. We spoke about a lot of different things that got him to where he is right now. And in his particular situation, he lives in Norway, but his parents are Bosnian, and they escaped a war-torn country before he was born. And I just try to help him understand or see that his parents escape from fear, trauma, a violent country and a violent time may have manifested itself in his character, where he is now escaping from his body and then living in a conceptual world, right? So you mentioned trauma in your email, and I'm just mentioning to you that perhaps you're correct. Maybe there was some trauma, maybe it was generational trauma, like I'm talking about with our friend here, where he developed, and what you have likely developed, which is a term that I learned while studying the work of Alexander Lowen, of the schizoid character structure. And don't let that freak you out. Schizoid, which comes from the word schism, basically means separation. And it's basically when we separate our head from our body, our mind from our body. When we live in this conceptual world detached from our physical body. A lot of us carry this schizoid propendency of living up in our heads. And some of us, we carry it in our body. We have a schizoid character structure. This may or may not be you, but I was talking with my young friend yesterday. He carries a schizoid character structure, which typically looks like bigger eyes, very active ears, eyes, face, head, thinking, but also very thin and very dormant, dead, not feeling body. And so what happens is, as a result of our early life experiences, personal trauma, generational trauma, whatever the case may be, and really I don't think it's that important, we escape, we run away from our experience, our immediate experience for what's happening in reality. We literally detach from reality and shift up into a world of concept. And just by reading your question and your description of your life and what you're going through, you totally are living in a conceptual world. Just consider, you get around people and you immediately begin thinking about what they may be thinking about you. It's a total mindfuck. I'm nervous, I'm anxious, I'm having a hard time getting along with people because I'm thinking about what they may be thinking about me. It's a circle jerk in your brain. And then also, your concept of what you should be compared to what you actually are. Living in a world of expectation for what we should be rather than appreciation and recognition for what we are is living like a schizoid, is living in a conceptual world. Your entire question belies, denotes, points to the fact that you're living in concept, you're living in your imagination, you're living in your head, and nothing that you. Now, I don't want to downplay your experience. What's happening to you is real, but I want you to understand that you're making it all up. It's not that it's not real. You are having this experience, but you're doing it to yourself by this conversation, this circular conversation that you're having with yourself, and above and beyond just the mere fact that that conversation is not resourceful. And I'm going to give you some tips about all this. I'm going to help you out. You are not present with reality. You're not in your body. There's a form of dissociation is what you're experiencing. You're not here. You're living in your imagination. I think you kind of get that point now. So with our friend, and with my coaching group, I like to get right down to what can you do? What practical steps can you take? And I was just flowing like I'm flowing with you right now, and I was just rattling stuff off. And we went for like 20, 30 minutes. I don't have that time here, so what I did was I went back to the old video from yesterday because I recorded them, and I took down some of the points that I made to my friend. I have 10 different points here, 10 different tips that are going to help you. The very first thing I want you to do, which I think is going to be important for you so that you can trust this process, is to learn a little bit more about what you're going through by reading Alexander Lowen's book, Denial of the Body. I had a copy, I forgot to bring it upstairs. Denial of the Body. Denial of the Body by Alexander Lowen, where he describes this schizoid condition. It's about fear of life. It's about holding yourself together against the fear of annihilation. And for whatever reason, this is what you're presenting with. I'm not diagnosing you, but I'm going based on what the conversation that we're having here. So that may be helpful for you, but I'm going to kind of like contradict myself in a moment here. It's good to have the concept, but then we got to get away from concepts. We got to get away from ideas. We got to get away from thinking for you. It's not for everybody, but for you. So here are the 10 tips that I offered my friend yesterday when we were speaking, my student. Number 1, don't believe your thoughts. Truthfully, your thoughts are not real. Your thoughts are not real. They're made up. You're totally making up the fact that other people are thinking something about you. You don't know what other people are thinking about you. You don't know if they're even thinking about you. Chances are they're probably not even thinking about you. Just like our friend that got on the call yesterday, he thought that everybody noticed that he was nervous. And I said, dude, if you didn't say anything, nobody would have noticed that you were nervous. This is you. You made that up. And of course, he has nervous experience in his body, so it's true for him. But the fact that he's projected it on us and the world around him all of a sudden becomes dangerous because, well, they're staring at me and they know. That was all made up. And for you, it's all made up. Again, I'm not downplaying your experience, but I'm telling you that you're tricking yourself. So the very first thing I would tell you to do is to stop trusting your tricky thoughts. 99% of your thoughts, I guarantee you this, and this is for everyone, but mainly for people who present schizoid conditionings. 99% of your thoughts are not even your own thoughts. Another way to describe people who are schizoid, and it's a very popular term, is empath. A lot of schizoids are empaths. Empaths take on the energy of that which is around them. So if you're in a fearful environment, you're going to be fearful. If you're in a joyful environment, you're going to feel joyful. The whole point is that they have a very permeable boundary. They have very poor boundaries. And so one of the things you got to do is recognize that a lot of your thoughts aren't your thoughts. They may be coming from outside you. In other videos, I've called them demons. But the whole point is, don't trust your thoughts. They're not your thoughts. And usually they're coming from the past, they're coming from past traumas, they're coming from experiences, or they're coming from projections. 99% of your thoughts, don't trust them. Also, don't trust your false self-concept. You've got this concept of yourself about what you're supposed to be, but that's not true. Every time you think you're supposed to be something other than that which you are, you're resisting your truth. You gotta learn how to embrace yourself. See yourself as you are with no judgment. It's not up to you to judge yourself for who you are. It's up to you to be the best you with what you got. One teacher once said to me, Elliot, because he was my psychoanalyst, he was my bioenergetic analyst. He says, Elliot, when you're working with people, you're talking to people, just remember that you can't change their house. He says it's very difficult to change someone's house, but you can make it more livable. That's the same thing that we got to consider with ourselves. Make your home more livable, number one, by not trusting those demonic thoughts. False self-concepts, throw them out the window. You don't need to be anything other than you are. You're okay the way you are. In fact, and I mentioned this to our friend yesterday, schizoids are usually very, very gifted people if they give themselves space to be gifted. They're usually the most creative. They're usually the most artistic. They're usually super analytical, super smart, super spiritual. These people have powers. You have a power. And I'm going to give you, some tips here that's going to help you uncover your gifts, because I really, truly believe that you've got some gifts there. You definitely do. But right now, you can't see it. So number 2, don't resist yourself, like I said. Number 3, you're gifted. I already said these things, right? I'm getting ahead of myself. Schizoid traits. Schizoids tend to be, a lot of them become like healers, things of that nature. Number 4, avoid other people and protect yourself. Kind of like I was talking about before, permeable boundaries. It's better for you to get comfortable being by yourself. Don't need other people. Don't think you need to be around other people. Don't think that you need to be social, that you need to be extroverted. Be you, and it's better to be you by yourself. That way, not only will you not be getting the interference that's associated with other people's energy, you could learn to begin to love your own presence, begin to love yourself, your own company, right? To become okay with being by yourself. Not your thoughts. Don't trust those thoughts. Those aren't even yours. Be by yourself without the incessant thoughts. Those thoughts are, remember, dissociate from the thoughts. You're dissociating from your body. I'm telling you, dissociate from your thoughts. Don't trust your thoughts. Right now, it's the other way around. Protect yourself. Number 5, be alone in nature. Super important. Get around trees, sunshine, water, air, the elements. Because it's going to bring you back into the physical experience of being a human being. Flesh and bone, blood and guts, human being. Get into nature. That's our body. Nature is our body. If you want to get grounded, you want to get back into reality, get into nature. Not city nature. Try to find the woods. Try to find the beach. Try to find a place, especially if you can get away from other people, but where you can be at one with nature. Not in nature so you're hunting or hiking or doing some neurotic shit. In nature, doing nothing. Breathing. I'm going to tell you some other things you can do while you're in nature. Number 6, limit technology. The same way that you've got a permeable boundary and that people can infiltrate your space and screw with your head with their energy, technology is going to screw you the hell up. Technology dissociates us from our bodies. Stay away from screens as much as you can. Avoid screens as much as you can because it's going to get you way up in your head. Number 7, I'm going to go quick because I keep this under 15 minutes. Avoid drugs and alcohol, same reason. It dissociates you from the body and gets you trapped in your head. Eat grounding foods. Meat, high protein foods, high protein foods, high fat foods. They're going to help ground you. Number 9, feel into your body. That literally means, like I'm standing here, I feel my feet on the ground. I feel the air conditioning blowing on me. Feel sensation. Just get comfortable feeling into your body, right? The seat under your butt. And number 10, notice your breathing. Slow down and count your breathing. Feel your body. Feel yourself breathing. Feel the surrounding nature hugging and loving you. Get away from people. Get away from technology. Don't trust your thoughts. So there you go, dude. I hope that helps. Talk soon. Done.